This next high mileage Ram episode brought to you by Real Truck. If you don't mind, stick around to the end of the video. I've got some more information I want to share with you. Welcome back to Truck Central. I'm Mr. Justin Wheeler, and this is the 2019 Ram 1500 Limited High Mileage Edition. Now, if you watched the most recent 100,000 mile review video, you probably saw or heard me mention the newest breakdown that we've been dealing with, or had to deal with. It's fixed now, and that is the fuel pump. So let me back up a little bit, because I didn't realize it was the fuel pump at first. This was just a few days after I got the truck back from the exhaust manifold repair. I mean, it was like the very next week. So I go out and I get in my truck and I go to the gas station to get my morning beverage, and I leave the truck running. I've told you guys 100 times, I tend to idle this thing like crazy. It's just the way it is. I go inside, I get my drink, I come back outside, and I smell gas strong. And I'm like, that is not right. You know, you can tell when something is out of the norm. And sure enough, I look down, and under my truck, what do I see? This waterfall of gasoline making a huge pool on the gas station parking lot. And I'll show you a clip of what that looked like. This was fun. Awesome. So I didn't know what was wrong at the time. I honestly thought that maybe I had a ruptured fuel line. I thought that perhaps whenever I had the gooseneck hitch installed in the back, I thought, you know, maybe they clipped something. Maybe the plastic tank busted. I take this thing in weird places. You know, I was cutting down trees the day before, and I'm pulling logs with it, driving over stumps. So I thought, you know, maybe I punctured the tank and didn't realize it till now. And so then I get home, and my range, my miles to empty is just like falling like a stone. I mean, I'm watching it go from 30, 29, 28, 27 miles to empty. So luckily I got home, and I shut it off, and I noticed it stopped leaking. And I'll show you a video of that. It was still pretty dark, so I had to get the flashlight up underneath there. I was really just hoping to find something obvious. Man, that just wasn't the case. What in the world? So that was on a Sunday morning, and I had no other choice but to take it to the dealership. I mean, I could have tried to drop the tank. It looked like the bolts were easy enough to access. There was no physical obstruction or anything wrong with it. I figured it's got to be a hose or a connector on top of the tank, and I really did not want to drop the tank on this thing. One, I didn't know what the filler neck looked like. I wasn't sure what all kinds of cables and sensors and stuff were up there. I just didn't want to mess with it. And I had like 30 some miles left on my extended warranty. I guess it was more than that. It was a little under 100. I was close though. I mean, that was the last repair they were going to make for me. So I figured, well, I might as well take it to the dealer in the morning and let them deal with it. So I was able to, since it only leaked when the truck was running, I was able to leave it, shut it off, and get it back to the gas station the next morning, top it off, and then run to the dealership. Now, keep in mind, I usually have an appointment 2-3 days in advance, show up early, and they get me taken care of pretty quick. This was a Sunday, and they were closed, so I showed up the next morning unannounced, and they got me in really quick. I expected, you know, to leave it there for a couple days. I'd already lined up another loaner truck to kind of tool around in for a few days. And a few hours later, literally, it was 2 hours later actually, I got the email, and then I got a call shortly after that saying the truck's ready to pick up. So, what did they do? They said, found fuel pump outlet elbow to have crack on top of fuel pump housing, replaced fuel pump assembly, and retested. No fuel leaks present at this time. So I didn't get to see this with my own 2 eyes. I really wish I had asked them to let me keep that pump so I could inspect it, but they fixed it so fast I didn't have time. Whenever they fixed the exhaust manifolds, it took a day or two, so I was able to tell the technician, hey, throw those parts in the back of the truck, I want to keep them. It was already done and out the door by the time that, or before I even realized it or had a chance to ask for that. So I looked at some pictures online. On top of the tank, the pump is mounted to the top of the tank, and the top of it, that elbow, I guess, is all one assembly. It seems kind of weird to me that you can't just replace that elbow, that 90-degree fitting. Perhaps it's so you don't have leaks. I guess you have a lesser chance of connections leaking if you just do all one molded piece, and that makes sense. But from a serviceability standpoint, then you got to replace the whole fuel pump. So how did it crack? Not sure. I take this thing down some really, really, really bumpy roads. I'm talking like surface of the moon roads. And I suppose maybe that has something to do with it. Not sure. I'm just happy they replaced it. So what did it cost? $294 for the part, and then $175 for the labor. Sorry, I got that backwards. The part was only $175, so that's what a fuel pump cost for this. The labor was $294, and all in all, it would have been $469, so $500. But my extended warranty covered it, so feeling pretty good about that. You know, I know what you're thinking. Wow, this 5th gen Ram is having all these problems. Like this is kind of starting to maybe not make you feel so warm and fuzzy inside. And yeah, I don't like going to the dealer. I don't like having to get things fixed. I mean, and I have a deductible, excuse me. I have to pay $100 every time this thing gets touched at the dealer. I don't like paying that. But I think there's something to be said for the type of problems that we're having. You got to keep in mind that any time that we have repairs or something breaks down in this truck that's got to be fixed, there are major problems and there are minor problems. And the way that I typically define and kind of categorize a major problem, it's not a complete engine failure, but it's does it leave you stranded? Do you need a tow truck? Do you have to leave the vehicle there for long periods of time because parts aren't available? Do you need a rental or a loaner truck? Does it cost a lot of money? And these problems that I'm having with this truck, they're fixed really quickly. They're not very expensive, and they haven't left me stranded. If this thing was to, shell a transmission, had a serious motor problem or electrical problem or starting problem, I would be a lot more irritated, because in my line of work, this is my primary tool. I mean, this hauls around all my equipment, all my tools. If I don't have this, I'm up a creek. And I can overcome that, but it's a real pain to have to get it towed and then have to transfer all my tools over and all my equipment. So it's a pain in the butt, and I haven't had to do that yet. Every single issue that this truck has had, it's been minor, relatively inexpensive. It hasn't been a catastrophic failure. It's been issues. Now, there is some safety concerns that you need to consider with the fuel pump issue. That could have been a bad deal. Luckily, it wasn't. Luckily, I noticed the smell as soon as it happened, and that kind of shut it down without any unnecessary trips or work outings or something. So could have been worse. My extended warranty is expired. I hope nothing else pops up, but she's holding in there. She's doing a good job, and overall, still really happy with it. Now, if you watched the last video, I asked a couple of you guys to guess what my idle hours are. In the 100,000 mile video, I was kind of talking about how this truck doesn't have just super high miles for its age. Its idle hours are also really high, and that's just increased wear on everything. It's increased wear on the motor. It's increased wear on even something as simple as this dash. This thing is on. I would hazard a guess to say that I've had this screen turned on more than any other 1500 5th gen truck that's out there today. Even though I didn't get this till late 2019, this thing has been abused. The lights, the tail lights, the running lights, just in general, this thing has seen excessive use, not wear necessarily, but excessive use. So I asked you guys to check out to guess what you think the overall idle hours were. And just a quick shout out to SKS Mosin, who had the closest idle hour guess, coming in at 912. The actual idle hour count at the time of filming that video was 931. So SKS Mosin, good guess. You got the closest. No one was exactly right, but I appreciate all the close guesses. Some of them were a little far-fetched. So with all the issues that I've had lately, it can be a little frustrating, but the issues haven't been major. We've made it work. We've got it fixed quickly. The dealership's done a great job. The extended warranty place has not pushed back. All that to say, I'm being brutally honest about the problems I have with this truck, but it's not all bad. With all that in mind, it's still been a pleasant experience owning this vehicle. So, you know, with that, hopefully we don't have any more problems coming up, but if we do, I'll let you know. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. As I'm sure you've seen, Real Truck is the new sponsor for this season. They're going to be sending us some goodies to put a little pep in the old dusty Dodge's step. But they don't just have Ram parts. They've got Chevy, Ford, Nissan, Toyota, you name it. Everything from wheels, tires, intakes, tunes. They've even got the gooseneck hitch that I've got in the back. We'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to turn your half-ton into a hot shot hauler or not, whatever you prefer. So head on over to realtruck.com, check it out for yourself, but keep me in mind if you see something over there that you think would go well with the old high mileage Ram. As always, thanks for watching.